Welcome to these sci-fi guys. I am Dave, and with me always is Chad and John. We're kind of laughing here because we actually went through and filmed and recorded about 15 minutes, and then I realized I never hit record. So, so we're kind of this may be a little bit humorous, but today we're talking about a quiet place. I actually said, "Hey, I should go ahead and have some nice quiet music," and it's like, no, it's still too loud. So yeah, quiet place. You want a synopsis of the quiet place? Be quiet or you're dead. That's the whole synopsis of the movie. Be quiet
It,
or you're
it
dead.
is that simple.
So I'm sorry, I'm gonna be laughing through this whole thing because we did all
Oh,
this and we
absolutely.
had a really good conversation, and it probably won't be replicated because it was quite, some of the stuff was funny, some of it was like, yeah, okay, we're getting into it, and then oops. You should have seen it. I was just sitting there. I said, "Hey guys," and then they both kind of, their eyes got big, and I'm like, I never hit record." So my
Oh,
fault. My bad. I'm sorry. So
we love
take
it.
two.
I absolutely love it. Yes. Well, Dave's absolutely not wrong in terms of watching this film. The goal is be quiet or be dead. Uh, and so, as we think about that, of course, this film and what makes it even sci fi related is the aliens that are around and can hear just about everything. We have this nice world set up very quickly, which may be why some of the plot holes we'll discuss later kind of come about. But in terms of that actual alien creature, in regards to y'all's opinion, do you think we should have seen more of the creature, or was the suspense well intentioned and well built? I guess we'll start with Chad.
I the thing is, yeah, I would love to see more of the creature in the beginning, to just to see where they come from, how like just how they got there. Other than that, the suspense of it, seeing that one just glimpse of it, and then more at the end. So yeah, it was just that.
Yeah, I like the suspense of it, especially at the beginning. They're coming from the town, and you just see something moving in the forest, and I'm like, okay, it's not a predator, because we would have been able to see the outline moving around for that previous movie we watched. But um, I mean, I liked it a lot. I liked how they it wasn't until almost, well, it was really the climax of the movie. It was, okay, the baby's getting ready to be born, or was born, and then that's where all the noise is starting to happen. She walks down the stairs, etc., etc., and then you actually see what the creature looks like, and they were scary, but they were really cool looking.
Yeah,
But yeah, right.
Oh yeah, and I mean, I definitely agree in terms of the suspense. I think the whole point of the film is building up these huge moments of just suddenly in your face sound and aggression after it builds all of this long time of just silence, and then even that difference between the hearing world and the daughter who can't hear, and you still get extra silent even in the silence, and then all of a sudden just have these
Yeah,
huge moments of sound and
I
stuff at
I
the end.
really liked that when they did that, the extra silence in the silence. I really thought that was just a right to the point of, okay, this is what she's living. She's been living this way all of her life, so to her it's nothing. But she
Mhm.
now, she's had to learn how to tiptoe and not to make any noise, even though she can't hear if she makes any noise.
Oh yeah,
She was also
and then
she was
plus
also my
too.
favorite character in this whole movie. I know
well,
she made mistakes, but I loved her. I thought she was awesome.
Oh yeah, and the actress did a phenomenal job because,
yeah.
and the fact that Krasinski actually found a deaf actress as well, like just overall phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal. Now, of course, we have that difference in hearing and not hearing, and then we also just have the general like, oh, noise is bad, and then we have all of these setups with like, you know, noise from a waterfall can help protect sound. We have all these like the battery going off and killing the little kid, and like all of that just coming into this film, and then we
Hey,
arrive at a point.
let's stop there for a second, John. Let's stop there for a second. Okay, as a parent, you got to be quiet, right? You know, you have 4-year-old, 5-year-old kid who's already almost made noise a couple of times in the store. Why are you going to leave him back there by himself? I mean, really, a parent should be in the front carrying the other one because he's sick, and another parent should be in the back, making sure that everybody comes along and we don't forget anybody. Nobody puts batteries in something and makes noise.
See, that's the thing. I have two kids. I know I get my oldest to kind of be quiet, but iffy on that. But my baby, no, she'll talk all day long. So yeah, I will have to be carrying her and have to be her head be up against my chest and trying to walk as quiet as fast as I can. Now, if it was me taking the battery out of the spaceship, that battery would go into my pocket, not in the counter. They would not see it. Out of sight, out of mind.
Exactly. Anyway, sorry, we kind of went off on a little rabbit trail there, John. So, but
I
yeah,
mean,
go
yeah,
ahead.
that's fair. But I definitely saw it as more of, like kids in general just aren't going to listen to what you tell them. So I don't think it would have mattered one or the other. That kid was toast in the long run. But I digress. We build up these systems of sound. We make it to this like huge pivotal moment, and all of a sudden we have walking down the stairs, and she hits that daggum nail. Like, what do y'all think about that nail?
Well, here's this. You saw that nail when she was carrying the laundry up the stairs, and the camera focused on it. So that
Oh,
was
you
more
knew it
for
was going to happen.
you knew it, but something's going to happen to that nail. Either a somebody's going to fall and hit the head on it, or somebody's going to step on it, or they put the nail there on purpose. That way, just in case the aliens got in the house and
Well, still, I mentioned this earlier on our previous unrecorded version that if there's a nail there and you have it painted, this is where you step because it doesn't make any noise. You would make sure that there's not a nail there. And why would a nail come from the? I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, I've done some carpentry work. You have the shell or the step. The nails would go down
not up,
into the stringers. You would nail it into the stringers. You would not go from the stringer up into the the the
nothing.
the, the, the step.
Okay, but see, that's assuming a post-quiet world already. You got to think if you're using a nail gun pre-world, and
Even
even then you wouldn't fire up from the bottom. I was gonna
No,
say maybe it fired
exactly,
through one accidentally,
there's
but
no. Sorry,
exactly. It was a plot that they wanted to
yeah.
put in there,
Or
and
like it's
I'm sorry, I just got the willies just watching it because I'm like, oh, I just felt like, oh, I bet you that hurt so
it,
bad.
to me is I think the nail either A was put there on purpose and she didn't see. But you gotta think she was coming down there in a panic mode because her water just broke and trying to go switch the lights. But then when she stepped on the nail, she drops a picture frame.
Yeah,
yeah, that is true too. You're not thinking as clearly when you're about to give birth. It's
But
true. True,
yeah,
true.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Okay, yeah. Next
Yeah, for me
question.
that was
Let's
the
get off
worst
the
part of the
nail.
film. But in terms of sound, there's lots going on. Again, we talked about some of those systems right before that last question. So, in your opinion, both of you having worked sound in numerous ways, what would be some creative workarounds for the sound that you would make in the world?
well, first off, he goes takes the kid to the boy to get fish by the waterfall, and the boy's afraid. You can tell it. He didn't want to go, and when they got the fish and dropped, he's like, "Oh, they're gonna come get us," and he's like, "No." He showed him something. The waterfall. He got up on the waterfall and yelled out at the top of his lungs. Why wouldn't they just go find a way to move near that waterfall where they kind of make some sound but still be quiet? That's one thing. And then another thing is you have a baby coming in the world. So
Yeah, why would you have a baby coming in? I mean, I get it to a point, but
yeah,
and life happens, but still, the baby's coming. You have 9 months to go ahead and move to the waterfall or somewhere. Um, or, I mean, there's so many other ways of doing insulation than the way they were doing. I mean, paper, they were doing paper mache gluing it onto the walls, trying to say that's going to insulate it and make it quiet. No, I mean there's other ways to do
Why didn't they?
insulation. I mean, heck, you saw all of his electronics down there. I'm surprised he didn't do something like, we have noise canceling headphones, where basically it takes the noise, and then it reverses it, and then it broadcasts it, so that way it cancels it out. I'm surprised they didn't do something like that. Set up speakers all around their houses and do the same thing. Take the noise, invert it, and then cancel it out.
Well,
Or like Chad said, have a huge noise somewhere else. I mean, like when they got to the part where they had the fireworks, you know, that was like their emergency. Hey, we need to make noise so that they'll be drawn to that noise instead, or have a tractor or something, that's able to do
crank
that.
up.
Crank up something that can be loud, you know,
Says,
whatever.
yeah, I would at least have some kind of noise that's constantly going on. That way, you're drawing away from where you stand. But if you always have
Right.
noise
Yeah, exactly.
100 yards
Go
down the
go go down the road, and you get a generator, and then you have it, you turn that on by remote or whatever,
yeah,
or something. You can MacGyver something.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which,
And
in
then
all fairness, too, though, I think a lot of those ideas come from the idea of the like pre-alien world, because according to the story and the way it builds, it seems like it was very, very like just sudden. So there wasn't a whole lot of planning once we first
Well,
discover the aliens, and then they're coming after sound. So
here's this. You see in where he's at, the TV's in the basement. He's trying to figure out a weakness. Is it where the weakness? Don't know, but they know they attracted to sound. So from the day 89 when the first kid got killed, you got by the alien, and it's been almost a year and a half after that. Where have they been doing in the year and a half? Why didn't they just figure, oh, I'm gonna go put the
they're
wind
having
chimes?
babies.
Yeah, well, that too. But he could have put something like fireworks, wind chimes, like down the road, just that constantly makes the noise where it's not there.
Yeah, we're because honestly, what is the worst thing is if you're in a quiet room, and then or you're at church.
Oh,
It's quiet.
cell
You're at
phone goes
church.
off.
A cell phone goes ding or something, and everybody looks at that person because you can hear it. It's just it's out of the ordinary, and it's something that just, whoa, what was that? And like what Chad was saying, I think he hit the nail on the head. Is if there was constant noise around, you wouldn't have to be so quiet. You would have the noise around to kind of muffle if you, oh, ooh, I accidentally stepped on that, oh, I dropped that or whatever. But yeah, that's my point.
I
All right,
tell you,
John.
I got.
Oh, Chad, go ahead, keep going.
I tell you one thing I like about they were playing Monopoly and they rolling the dice on a cloth that will make no sound, but all the game pieces. Did you notice it
Yeah, all the
wasn't
game pieces were felt or
felt
something.
something?
Yeah, they didn't want to have the little, for them counting down the board. Yeah. And like for
I mean, I
me,
like that idea in general.
I I have to constantly clear my throat or cough or something because of just, a medical condition I have. I would be dead, because I can't not do it.
Oh yeah, which brings me to my next point. Like, just overall, I think they do a good job of at least the quick world building to set us up for our story and our climax at the end. But like, can you just imagine trying to be quiet? I mean, let alone for the 470 plus days we're talking about with them, like longer than a year. I mean, can you just imagine even like a month? Because I certainly can't.
No.
No, I can't. I mean, I am not like you two. You two have young children. All of my children are adults, and I I can't at all. Even then, like my daughter, she's learned sign language, and she's been teaching it to us, and she's been teaching it to our grandson. And um, and he's what, a year and a half. So, getting him, he's learning different things. It's
Microphone.
good for him. What am I muted?
No, your feedback.
Oh, sorry.
Bzzz.
Is that gone? Anyway,
Yeah.
we'll see. Okay, sorry. I'll just keep muting in between whenever I'm not talking.
No, you're good.
So
It went away.
okay, good, perfect. Hey, yeah. So, like I said, my daughter she knows sign language, and she's been teaching it to us a little bit, and she's been teaching it to my grandson. So when he's like, hey, do you want milk, or are you hungry? Do you want a bite? Things like that. Because he's a year and a half, but he understands that he can say I'm hungry, or I'm finished. He does I'm finished, saying, "Hey, I'm all done." I don't want. I want to get down. I'm all done. So we know, and it's good communication for him. So I can see it. Could I live it? No, I talk too much. Not at all. And I know Chad's kids. I know one of his children. No, one of them maybe. The other one, no.
Oh, well,
And I
here's
know
the
John, you've got little ones too. So I mean,
Yeah,
you
all
know,
four would end us off. Just
well.
yeah.
noise all the time,
See,
all the time.
here's this. I'll go crazy if it's quiet. I got to have some kind of noise. But here's this. It never shows them sleeping. Never. What you do when you somebody's, I'm gonna say I saw logs all day long when I'm asleep. I snore. So I'm gone that night.
Yeah.
Well, that's what the Breathe Easy strips are for. That's what they got at the pharmacy too. It's
Those
the
things don't
medicine and then the
No,
work.
it
Breathe
don't
Easy.
work.
I don't care what anybody says. I
I,
can't do it.
listen,
It
it's
bothers my.
something.
No, it's like this. It pull. Oh, it just feels so constantly tugging right there. I'm sorry. About the next hour after I put it on, I'll go like this. Take it off.
Yeah.
And then here's another
Yeah,
thing. They got electricity. How's he getting electricity?
solar panels.
No, okay, solar
He had
panels.
solar panels.
Well, well, see,
But
I
still,
done
there is a generator somewhere, or a
somewhere.
nuclear
It's
plant somewhere that is providing electricity for
yeah.
them. You know, and I didn't get. All right, what was the point of the whole of them climbing up on the top and setting the fire at night? Is that just to let them know, hey, there's other people out there,
I I think it's just
or
they.
Maybe.
I think it's just checking up because he had another whiteboard with names on there. If you couldn't really see, you knew that hey he knew the people around. I think he was that was their way of communicating. Hey, I'm still alive. I'm still here, and just that way he kind of puts hey there are people here.
Mm,
Other than but then why wouldn't they when the two kids did that during the attack? They say I'm still here trying to hey put it there, and where was the others? Were they already gone?
yeah, I don't know. Again, so some of that behind the scenes stuff. I mean, it would have been great if they had a book about it. You know, I know we did Ready Player One, and
Hmm.
this year I've been reading a lot of books, and I actually went back and read the book of Ready Player One, and it is totally different than the movie. Totally much different than the movie, and I mean the movie did a really good job um, for what they did, but it was quite a bit different, and it was shockingly different. I was like, oh, okay, that makes more sense. Why? All right, and that would have been it would be neat. I don't know if there is a book out there or not on it. It would just be interesting to see, hey, if anyone out there, if you guys know if there's any behind the scenes stuff that we don't know about, hey, go ahead and comment down in the
Yeah.
comments. That'd be great because we'd love to know.
Always,
Yeah.
always. Well, there was one last bit too. I know right as we were getting ready to answer this last question, we had our great moment. Uh, but John Krasinski kind of made this film. It said as a love letter to his family, and although it's in a suspenseful, like horrifying scenario, I mean, do you guys kind of see where that kind of came through and shined a little bit, or did he miss his mark on that?
No, I don't think he's Mrs. Mark because you look at the end where he just got out of where he left his newborn baby and wife in the underground bunker they just made. So there and go try to find the other two kids. And when he finds them and he's walking back, one of the aliens was there and attacked him, but his other son made a noise trying to draw attention to him. And then he gets up and sees the alien attacking the truck where the kids are. He knows what he's got to do, and I think I'm gonna go a couple of minutes back. They're walking back from the water. He stops, sees the old man, and sees the old man's wife. The old man had it. He didn't want to live another day without his wife there, so he knew it was about to happen. He made a noise to just end it. So back to this, John Krasinski saw that and said he's got to save his kids. And he's going to do it no matter how in the world he's going to do it. He's going to do it this way. And he sign language, I love you. I really, and just say, hey, I love you. He knew his wife could saw that. The two kids saw that. Just say, hey, y'all gonna be okay. I love you. I'll be there. And just made a noise.
I will agree with that to a point. Up until the end, I really thought that he was angry with his daughter, though. I mean, the way his actions were seemed like he was angry with her for the loss of his other child. In the end, eventually he got it right, but up to that point, even his son said, don't be mad at her, and of course, he's like, of course I'm not mad. He's like, well, you're acting like you're mad, So that was the only thing I thought about it.
Okay, here's this. He lost a kid. It wasn't the daughter's fault. Okay, it was in the movie. It was technically the daughter gave the the
Yeah, but he should
mission
have
back to him.
he should have taken the batteries and put them in his pocket. You're
Yeah.
right.
See,
Like
thing
you
is,
said earlier.
it's always on him. It's not her. See, the kids. Kids gonna do whatever they want to do. They're not gonna listen. So he didn't blame the daughter. I think he was more blaming himself. And everybody goes through grief differently, very different. So
I agree, but I think at the same time is he should have done more for her to say, yeah, I messed up,
yeah,
or something up until, the very last thing he does is sacrifices himself.
Which, I mean, if you're gonna go out, at least you let her know you're not really angry with her,
yeah.
like before you go.
Yes,
Otherwise,
I
you got a
will
whole
agree with that.
different set of trauma. But I
But
do
then
agree. He definitely.
why didn't the monster chase after the truck afterwards? Because that would have been making all kinds of noise.
What you gonna think?
Even though it wasn't on, it's still rolling
He
down
had
the hill making
WD
noises.
40 on every joint. He had
Oh,
plenty of time.
jeez.
These,
It was a
that
night.
thing's
That
going
thing
down
was a
here
night.
hitting every bump.
Dude, that was a 1974 Ford F100. Okay, I'm
Listen, listen.
sorry.
It's already
No,
squeaking.
that thing is.
If I'm not making ludicrous comments, I'm not doing my job.
Hey, listen to this. You could grease all the joints on that truck. It'll still make that squeaking on the bed. You won't get the
Not
dust in
even
the
Oh,
bed.
even not
it came
that.
out
It's
of the
just
factory.
the tire noise on the dirt and on
Dirt.
the gravel is going to make that noise. You know.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, again, I don't know if I mentioned it earlier. I know I did in the previous one, but I don't know if I did on this one. We are nitpicking this movie, but it was a really good movie. Um, Later on at the end of the year, we're going to actually do top five and bottom five, and this could be in the top five. It could be. I don't think it ended up in the bottom five though,
Nah.
No.
but it could be in our top five. I mean, we don't know. We'll discuss that later on. But John, you got any more questions? Any final thoughts?
No more questions. I will say, final thoughts wise, it's definitely when I first saw this in theaters, I had no idea what to expect. I thought I was going in and just going some kind of alien horror flick. And I think they do a good job of drawing you in, telling the story, and just leaving you with some kind of satisfaction at the end. And really, at the end of the day, I think that's what we kind of seek out any movie for. And I think Krasinski did a good job on his little baby project of getting that done and doing it in a very good way. And yeah, so like I said, I think I definitely enjoyed watching it both times, but it's just overall pretty solid work.
Chad, you got anything for us?
Yeah.
Final thoughts?
Here's this. This was the first time seeing this movie, and I normally don't do like suspense or something I don't really know. And And the thing is I enjoyed it. I'll watch it again. I want to go see the second one just to see it because it's there. It's a good movie, very well written suspense. I like John Krasinski, especially when he was in the office and stuff like that. That way I knew who he was. So yeah, it was a good movie, and I always recommend whoever's watching go watch it and let us know what you think about it.
Yeah, I would piggyback on what Chad just said. Go watch it. Any of these movies after we talk about it, either A, watch them ahead of time or watch them, and then kind of see what we're talking about, or hey, let's see what these guys are thinking about, and then hey, I'm going to go watch it. Speaking of our next movie, all right, so we did a very suspenseful, quiet place. Now we're going to go to the polar opposite. I think I sneak peeked it last time. We're going Spaceballs. All right.
May
So we're
the
going to go
shorts be with you.
Mel Brooks Spaceballs, totally opposite end of the spectrum. Whoop, wrong button. Remove. There we go. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it. It is a parody of Star Wars. I'll just
It's a little
throw
bit
it
more
out
of this.
there. And a lot of other movies thrown in there. And it'll be interesting to see if you guys can pick up on all the different
Mhm.
movies that are in there. Uh, I know, John, you said you've never seen this before,
Nope, not a chance.
which is
Schwartz.
which is which is kind of he'll get it. He'll see that eventually. Get to that. What's kind of nice is some of these things is either a like for me, I haven't seen some of these movies in a long, long time, or B, I've never seen some of them. And that goes for John and for Chad. Chad just said this is the first time he saw A Quiet Place, and it's gonna be first time for Spaceballs for John and stuff. That's what makes this show pretty interesting, and for what we're doing here, and we all get something out of it. It could be laughs, it could just be, hey, whoops, I forgot to record or whatever. And then we get a big chuckle, and then and we didn't talk about half the stuff we talked about before. I don't think it just didn't come up this time around, and because we don't have a script, we usually have a few questions that we text each other. Say, hey, here's some questions. Think about them before the show, and then oh, here we go. So with that being said, we've all done our thing, and we're gonna say peace out.